right, so we are going to create the basic scene. So you're going to be setting up a teapot with a plane, and I'm going to pause the video while I do that because this is something you should already know how to do. So take a moment to do that. All right, so the teapot and its plane are both here in the viewport. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create an actual camera for our scene. So if we go up to our Create tab, on the couple things over is a little mini icon with a camera. Please click on it. We want to be in the standard menu, and we're going to do a target camera. Now, the thing I love about the target camera is it has a camera and a target. So the first click is the actual camera itself. So I'm actually going to create the camera in the top viewport so I can look down on my scene. So I'm going to click to create the camera, and then I'm going to drag toward the teapot itself and then release my target. So if I go back into my main viewport, it's kind of hard to see because the target, I think, is behind the teapot, or it's inside of it, actually. That's probably where it is. So I'm going to take advantage of my 4 viewports, and I am going to move my target a little ways out so I can easily get to it. All right, so here's my basic scene. I've got my virtual camera chilling, and I've got my target laid out. So one thing that is good to do once you've set up a virtual camera for your scene is dedicate one of your viewports to be the camera's perspective, like so that you can see what the camera is seeing at all times while you're manipulating your geometry and everything else. So I was taught to do it in the upper right viewport. That's just what I was shown to do, so that's what I do. So I right click up here, and the quickest way to do it is to hit C, and that will give us the camera's point of view. You can see now I'm seeing what the teapot is seeing. So a couple things that's kind of cool that you can do in the viewport is you can actually pan around and set up your perspective just by doing that right in the viewport. And you'll see that by doing that, the camera itself is actually moving. You can also just move the camera in 3D space, and while you're doing that, you see that the perspective automatically changes, and you can kind of get an idea of what it is, how your camera is actually aiming. Likewise, you can do the same thing. You can actually move your target around and kind of position things how you want them to look in your scene. So I'm going to leave it there. One thing that's really cool about the target camera that I really like is you're able to link the target to an object. So say for some reason the teapot was moving around the scene and we wanted the camera to follow it, we could just link the target to the teapot, and as we animated the position of the teapot, the camera would automatically follow it. Something we'll do in a tutorial later on. Anyways, so we have created our camera and we are aiming it at our scene. And so the next question is, well, what happens if we render this? What is it going to look like? So if we go up to render and we select render settings, we should do that for render setup, sorry. For me, it's going to pop up on my other monitor, so I've got to drag it over and grab it. You guys will see it in your window right away. Here is render settings, and this is a substantial set of things here that show up. There is a lot going on in here, much of which you will never have to worry about unless you became a professional 3D animator. So for the purposes of this class, I'm not going to get into a ton of the render settings. That's kind of advanced stuff. So what I've done is I've created a preset for you guys to load that will set the settings exactly the way we want for our tutorial. So you're going to go up to preset and you're going to say load preset. Then you are going to navigate to our sample scenes and resources folder, and you will see there is now a render presets folder that I've created, and inside is this guy, V-Ray Basic, no GI. Please select that, hit open, and it's going to give you this little preset thing. You're going to hit load, and the settings will all be changed to what you need them to be. So let's hit render and see what we get. And of course, on my machine, it's rendering on the other window there, but there it is in all its majesty. Not very exciting, right? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to add some lights, and we're going to make some changes to our scene that are going to give us a realistic sky with the shadows and the sunlight and all that. There are a few ways to achieve that in 3D Studio Max, to achieve a realistic sky and lighting. But for today's tutorial, we're going to use a plugin called Dreamscape. It's a very easy plugin to use to create some really nice skies. It also creates landscapes and terrains and also water. So we'll be using it for that as well down the road. But today we're going to just create a sun and a sky. So let's do it.